Hey everyone, Overkill is back with another Dragon Ball review. This time, we're taking a look at the Demoniacal Fit True Believer, aka Zamasu, from Dragon Ball Super. And this is a pretty awesome figure. I saw it posted up on Ageless Geeks, and I don't have much in the way of Demoniacal Fit. You've seen a couple reviews on my channel in the past, but I was stoked to get this one. Some of the stuff he came with kind of sold me on it. Just as crazy as it sounds, the evil Goku head sculpt and stuff, just that kind of took me to where I needed to be to make this purchase. So I pre-ordered this a while back, and it just now came in, and I'm definitely excited to set it up on my shelf. What we'll do first, though, is take a look at the package. You can see it's got some really cool artwork here of Zamasu, and it wraps around on the side. Then the back, I showed you this head sculpt already, but it just shows you a couple different poses for the figure. And on the bottom, we do have True Believer, and you can see that this picture continues wrapping down. And then we have the Demoniacal Fit logo here as well, and then True Believer on top. So, with that being said, let's get this thing taken out of the package and check it out. First thing in the package was this nifty little paper that tells you how to replace the hands and wrist joints in case the pegs come out all the way. We know how to do this already, but it's pretty cool that they added that in with it. So of course the first thing that we have is the figure itself. Kind of take a look at it real quick. You can see this is the head sculpt that it has, and we'll go through all those in a minute. But the coloration is pretty good, and it's got like the pliable plastic, so you can allow for some movement good. But as far as articulation, it's similar to SH Figuarts. I mean, they're using pretty much the same molds, so you get really good movement on the head all around. Pops out easy. You can see how that's made. Not a fan of that. It popped off really easy just by trying to show you guys. But he does have the shoulder pads that move around. You can see he's on this little ball here. So it allows for really good movement with the upper bicep cut as well, and the double jointed elbows. The hands, of course, are on the ball pegs that you normally see with Figuarts. And he does have chest articulation here that wiggles around, as well as waist articulation. So you get pretty good movement all around on this specific piece. The belt doesn't move too much. You can see that it will twist some to help out with that. We showed you the split a second ago. One side way more than the other. The extra pieces kind of hinder it. You'd have to pull them apart and then do it. But inside, you can see the 2.0 type mechanisms, and he does have double jointed knees, no calf cut, and he has a really high thigh cut. The feet are on a ball to allow for good movement, and it has toe articulation. And as always, you're going to get the exact same articulation on the opposite side. Head comes off really easy. But let's just leave it off, and I'll go ahead and show you the rest of the head sculpts. Here is the first one. If you line it up just perfect, it goes in a little bit easier, but it just don't want to stay in real good. You can see this is kind of his angry or shouting face compared to just the normal stoic look that he had on the one that was on him. And then the next one, we got him where he's just now getting angry, or he's gritting like he's ticked off about something. Very subtle changes, just really in the mouth and eyes a little bit. And then we have a happy one. This is after he's murdered everybody, I guess, so he wants to smirk or grin about it. And I want to point out that these do have the Pretoria rings on them. This one just has one. And let me set him back. This one had one on this side. You can see it here. And lastly here, and the reason I'm showing you all those is because when we get to the Goku Blackhead, you can see it's got both Patora on it. It does symbolize his fusion with Zamasu. And it has a funky neck piece to use with that. And I've seen this on figure arts before in the past. I'm guessing you just pop this top piece off. Looks like it anyway, just don't want to come out. There we go, we got it all out. Here's the green one. You would think that they would have this just in case, but it's not. You just kind of pop it onto the front. Like so. Then we'll put this piece, let's see. Ah, I see how it is. You have to take that whole piece out because inside the head is just a ball. You don't get to use this whole big thing. So let me take that out and then I'll get back to showing you how it looks with the head on. So there it is with the head on, and this way the head stays on much better, and you can see I can move it around a lot more and it's not popping off. I prefer that, and you don't really see the green peg now. So I'm glad that they did that, but I wish they just did that method with all the heads and avoided this little green contraption. Because inside this head, you just don't want to stay inside that too good. It doesn't give you a real snap-in feeling for that. So that's kind of crazy. And he looks kind of crazy with these green hands in his head. But what I'll show you really quick is all the alternate hands that he does come with. See, there's the fist. And neither of these have a time ring. You can see this side. And it's just kind of your typical, I guess this for him would be a gloating hand, showing off his power. Obviously with the other head on. And then of course, we have a karate chop hand like he's getting ready to fight. Very easy pose to make out of that. I just hate that the hand's kind of like oversized compared to the fist. But it's still pretty cool. And then lastly we have the fist. And what's cool is the fist has the peg piece you need in it. You gotta take this peg out. And that's what the paper was showing us. They're kind of hard to get out. Alright, I am back, and I want to say that that took a lot more effort than I wanted to. This side, not so bad. This side was pretty rough. I don't know if it's still got a little bit of water on or not, but I had to heat it up. And this left arm I had to heat up, or left hand I should say, I had to heat up for a long time to finally get these pegs out. That's what they look like. I know that green doesn't show up good on camera. That's the part that goes in, that's the part that connects to the hand. And it took a heck of a lot of work just to get that one little piece in. And it kind of confused me why the hands have these pegs, but the head didn't. I don't know if I'm missing a piece or they just thought it'd be good enough to cover up. But just pop this one back in. Hopefully it'll go in easier than it came out. It did. You can hear it click in. I know this whole arm come off on me in the process trying to take that off. So I probably got water all in it. And then the opposite side, like I said, it worked with me a lot easier. And it snapped in really well. You can see the right hand. It does have the time ring there. So that's really cool. I'm kind of bummed that it doesn't have the hand with him kind of doing his pose, holding up the time ring. But, you know, it's still a really cool figure. And we popped the head back on. I just wanted to show that and make a couple pointers on it. But, you know, that peg does cover up really well. Just got crazy, I guess, because that would be shown more. But it's a nice feature. Just really hard to get those pegs out. The last thing that I have to show you that the figure came with is this. And I really should have showed this to you when I had Zamasu with his green hand on. But they should have came with a human hand that this worked with as well, because he would still use the attack, I'm sure. But you could do it with either hand. If you can get the hand off without the peg, just pop this one in, and it should slide into it. Now this head keeps falling off after I bragged about it earlier in the video. You can kind of see it doesn't stay on good either. The thumb kind of blocks it, but it's still pretty cool. As soon as you turn it, it wants to fall. That's what it would look like. Too bad he didn't have a human hand though to go with that. But I bet you one of my other figures, I can rig something up to have him hold that in this form, because this is the way I want to display him. I already have a regular Zamasu set up in my collection, so this one will be really neat to have set up. That is everything that he came with. So the next thing, of course, is let's go ahead and get this guy on the 360 turnaround, take a good look at him, and do our final thoughts. So he is set up on the 360 turnaround, and he didn't want to stand on it too well either. I'm just having a lot of difficulties with this figure. I don't think it's the figure itself, so I'm not counting some of this stuff against him. I think some of it is just a bad review that I'm just struggling with a little bit. But we'll get through it. It's been a solid figure overall. The joints have been really, you know, they've not been loose and they've not been tight. They're not perfect, but they're a little bit closer to the loose end, I guess. But they're still really good. The articulation-wise, as far as the whole figure itself, is really good. You can move a lot of different parts. You do have some hindrance in the legs, but that's not too bad. You can work around that. At least they added the pliable plastic and stuff to help out with that a little bit. The extra features are great. You have 5 head sculpts to work with. You have like 4 extra sets of hands to work with. You have the extra neck piece, so you can put them in the Goku Black look here. And then you also have this energy effect. The only thing that I think it's missing that it needed was a Goku hand itself to put this on. That way you could use it either way. But it's still pretty freaking awesome nonetheless. The paint apps are amazing on it. I didn't see hardly any flaws whatsoever on it. Didn't see any scuffs or anything. My takeaways, of course, was the pegs coming out of the forearm. But, you know, I'd rather them be snug in there than just flop out while you're trying to pose the figure. So I'm not going to count that as a negative. It's just a little extra work overall. You know, that's about all I'm going to say, other than the heads from the Zamasu part not wanting to fit. That's probably my biggest takeaway, period. If they had a better way of having that snap in, I wouldn't have an issue. This one does decent until you start messing around with it too much. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's all there is to this figure, and it's pretty cool for a third-party figure. You know what you're getting with it, and it's not necessarily Figure Arts quality. I know they like to charge Figure Arts prices, but you know, they make some characters and some variations that you don't always see, so it's a welcome addition to get some of this stuff. That being said, this was a Demoniacal Fit Zamasu, aka True Believer / Goku Black. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I bid you farewell.